Hi everybody, I'm Ben from the Bonehead Podcast, BPGreenman on the NAF, and with the NAF Presidential elections coming up in the next few weeks, I am standing, and I'd love to take just a minute to talk to you about who I am, who the NAF is, and what I stand for with regards to the presidency. The Q&As will be happening starting on the 12th of January, so I won't be answering any questions or going into too much detail. This is really just an opportunity to introduce myself. Me. So, who am I? I'm 31. I live down in Southampton along the south coast of England. And a lot of you will know me as Ben from the Bonehead Podcast, which is a twice monthly podcast where we talk all things Blood Bowl. And we've been doing that for a year and a half. Episode 34, 33, 34 will be coming out this weekend, which will be really good. Really love doing that. Love getting to know so much of the community, whether it's from helping out with tournaments, running our own tournaments, or just being involved in ridiculous ideas and competitions just to explore Blood Bowl. It's been fantastic, and I've loved every minute of doing that, which has been great. Also host 7 Super Series, a YouTube show which is essentially a Blood Bowl 7's mini league, and that's been great fun to do. We finished the first season at the end of last year, and we're filming the second season now, and it is just as fun, if not slightly more ridiculous, because we've got some secret teams in there as well. So just more Blood Bowl is more better. I'm also the curator of the SWTC, so the Southwest Tournament Championship, which is a NAF sanctioned tournament series covering Southwest England and Wales, and it's been great fun to see the different tournament packs and find out what's going on in the greater Blood Bowl world while working with other NAF TOs, so that's been really good, and also cover that on the YouTube channel as well. Personal life. So I'm a compliance manager for a food retailer, supermarket, a job I've kind of been doing now for 15 years since I was at college. So I've had the opportunity to do lots of different roles in lots of different places. The job I'm doing now, I really like. It really suits me. It's organising, it's rules, it's spreadsheets, which is awesome. And I get the opportunity to work with a whole bunch of people, finding out what makes them tick, finding out what's important to them, and finding out better ways to run our business. And to motivate them, and I love that. In fact, one of the main things that drives me is trying to make whatever I can better for whoever I can. It's a huge part of who I am. I'm also lucky to have the most supportive fiance I could ever wish for, Tiff. I've known her now for over 10 years. She is in every way my best friend, and even agreed to play Blood Bowl 7s with me in Tenerife last year, which was a bit of a relationship goal for me anyway. I also survived wrapping her birthday present in a Nurgle team. Best wrapping paper I ever used. So not entirely sure why she's marrying me, but I'm very glad that she is. And we'll be getting married next May, so May 2021, and who knows after that, but that's a huge part of who I am. Hobby-wise, I love Blood Bowl, and have ever since I opened the 2nd edition box with the Astro Granite pitch. One of the best Christmas mornings of my life. It was a gift from my cousin, so it was second-hand. It was all built, and I say built, everything was built already, but poorly painted, but honestly one of the best Christmases ever. Going through the rules, the background, just exploring the game. Best Christmas I ever had, I think. Generally speaking though, I've dabbled in most elements of wargaming, every scale imaginable. I love 3mm, don't know why, but I do. Every time period, and even went so far as to write and publish my own rule set with a couple of friends. We made a games company about 6-7 years ago, Red Wyvern Games, published Engage, spaceship combat game, and it was great fun to do. I love that game, love that book, really happy that we've sold hundreds of copies. Not the best game in the world, but a fun game, and I think that's probably resonates with my hobby stance. I'm also the commissioner of our local Blood Bowl league, Wobble, down in Hythe, again in Southampton. We play every Tuesday, except for the first Tuesday of every month, and we've got 20 or 30 coaches that rotate in and out. We're on our 6th league, so it's been going on for quite a while. It's great fun. We've had big leagues, we've had minor leagues. We kind of focus on no one missing out, so we make sure that coaches' teams are eternal, so they never lose what they've earned, but also we focus heavily on new players, so that new players can pop in and play games, and that really lines up with my philosophy with Blood Bowl, is that no one should miss out. So that's me. Now the NAF. So for those of you who don't know what the NAF is, it is a worldwide players association for Blood Bowl. Basically, it collates resources, collates coach rankings and stats from tournaments it's done. It sanctions tournaments, so basically make sure that if you're going to a Blood Bowl tournament that's sanctioned by the NAF, you're playing Blood Bowl, and nothing too crazy is happening. And probably most iconically, the NAF curated the Blood Bowl rules during the time where Games Workshop stopped producing anything for it. It worked in association with Games Workshop as much as it could, but actually the NAF was the pillar that held Blood Bowl together for quite a long time. And now with Games Workshop producing some excellent products since 2016, the NAF has been trying to work with Games Workshop to kind of line up the two elements, and that's why I really want to get involved now. The role of the NAF president is to direct strategy and planning, and to be the liaison between its members and the other elements of the organisation, really to make the organisation the best it can be and the best resource it can be for Blood Bowl. And that is something that I am massively behind. So the presidential elections, who else is running? At the moment we've got Nate Beam, or Geixo, who is the reigning president for the NAF, and to be fair has done a really good job in the last 2 years, in 2 of the busiest years for Blood Bowl. We've also got the wonderful Sean Stevenson, whose tournaments I've been to for a year or 2 years now. Birmingham Brawl, Mana Bowl. In fact, I'm going to Mana Bowl in February, so which 10 out of 10 can recommend. February the 22nd in Birmingham. Great location, great tournament. If you're able to come along, come along. It's stunty league teams. I'll be bringing my Chaos Halflings. Be a really good day. But the Q&As for the presidential election open on the 12th. So in deference to that, in deference to the other nominees, current and hopefully maybe some additional ones between now and then, and most importantly the NAF process. I won't be answering any questions on this, and I won't be going into very much detail around what I'd like to do with the NAF, but I'd like to give a very quick, very high level take on my angle. So my angle would be accessibility to coaches old and new, barriers, find out what we can do to make the NAF an even greater resource, and communication to the Blood Bowl community at large. Basically, if someone somewhere talks about Blood Bowl, I want them to also be able to talk about the NAF and the good things the NAF do. Anyway, thanks very much for your time, and I will see you next week for the Q&As.